Now you just watch. I went to the market for to get some beef. And the beef so tough, and I couldn't get enough. I paid $5 for a great big hog, and the hog so fat, and I couldn't get back.
I want to do that too.
All right. Are you ready?
Yep.
Come on. Ah. Say, you get your own quick. Look out now. Here's your last one.
I'd like to live in a tree-lined street. I'd like to have a summer home on the lake. I'd like to have a yacht and belong to a North Shore Yacht Club. I like to wear suits from Brooks Brothers. All Americans, and I'm an American, we think this way. There's no other way to think. I can't think African. I can't think Irish. I can't think Norwegian. I have to think in the society in which I live, which is a white society. So their values are imposed on me, and I think this kind of way. I don't think of myself as being a Negro. Never until recently have I really been concerned that I am a Negro. I thought all the while that I was an American.
As a white girl who has dated black guys since the age of 15, I feel like you guys need my perspective on this Shannon Sharpe shit, because everything I'm seeing is like white women are fetishizing black men. Like the Shannon Sharpe stitch, like the girl said something about, I want your black baby, right? I have had black men come to me and say, I want you to have my black baby. Not, I want you to have my baby. That's the acceptable response. No, I want you to have my black baby. And I have had black men ask me to say very derogatory things in bed. Yeah. So part of it is not that white women are fetishizing black men. It's like the opposite. And I feel like this isn't being talked about. And I don't want to get any hate for this, guys, because this is my personal experience. But I've had more black men than not mention race in our relationship as like a king. I don't know. I don't even know if that's like the right way to describe it. But there are some black men in this world that I think like want, I don't know. I don't know if they want to reenact. I don't know if it's like a power trip of like, I don't know. But I just feel like that piece is important to this puzzle.
Because we live in America, it is not uncommon for people to have very racialized views about others. And this is particularly true in the dating and mating market. The book, The Dating Divide, breaks this down in detail, where it talks about how even in this modern era, one of the determining factors that people use when looking for a partner, when looking for a spouse, is their race. Not their education, not their height, not even their income bracket. The primary determining factor that people look across the board is still primarily race. This is what the data suggested. And so we can assume that 2025 is a post-racist or post-racial society. Race is still very much a determining factor that people look at when it comes to how they interact. Now, fast forward to Shannon Sharpe and his situation. We know obviously it is a mess, and it is honestly very unfortunate, and there is still a lot of information that is yet to be revealed. But one of the things that is the most provocative about it, as we understand, is the racialized component. You have this big, dark-skinned, muscular black man who's over 50, who's with this very young, barely at a teenager woman, dainty, small white woman, right? And this definitely pulls on racialized views of these big, burlesque, violent black men who want to take advantage of these small, dainty, helpless white women. I mean, if you think about it, The Birth of the Nation, one of the original videos, the original movie that was shown in the White House was really about this. It was about a black man who was trying to take advantage of this dainty white woman, and it was all about really soaking that racial tension. And so, even though we are in 2025 and there's been a lot of change, those motifs exist. Now, referring to this white girl's take on the Shannon Sharpe situation, what she said is really not anything that is surprising. I started out this video by sharing you some classic examples of Black masculinity. And quite frankly, some of the stereotypical examples that we see exist, right? This idea that Black men are inherently trying to assimilate into white culture, or that Black men are inherently thirsting for white women and who basically are jigaboos, or who are basically pandering to white women. Like, again, these are very stereotypical ideas of Black masculinity that I wanted to present to you using some anecdotal evidence, right? Or just anecdotal examples of how this idea is being proliferated. So we know that obviously that there are men now, Black men out there who have self-hating ideas, right-coding ideas. This is not surprising. We know this is not every Black man, but it just goes without saying. Not every Black man thinks like this. Not every Black man believes like this. And there are people out there who don't like themselves, and it is what it is. And so I am always very, very cautious about anybody who wants to pedestalize a person simply because they are another race. To me, that usually speaks to a sense of self-hatred, or quite frankly, a sense of ignorance, because every culture has beautiful aspects of it and not beautiful aspects of it. Every culture is going to have aspects of it that might be considered godly or virtuous, and then ungodly and virtuous, because cultures are made up of people. So this whole situation with Shannon Sharpe, as unfortunate as it is also, again, nothing but a example of the things that have happened to Black men since day one in this country. I personally feel like every single year there is a public humiliation of a Black man happening, whether it be through character assassination, whether it be through him being unalived, whether it be through or just an overall humiliation ritual where it's degrading his name, degrading his integrity, questioning his integrity. This happens every year. Unfortunately, Shannon Sharpe happens to be up. Here's the thing, Shannon Sharpe, he could be guilty, he could not be guilty. We don't really know. And I think more importantly, it is a reminder to me of what I have preached before about the importance of sexual discipline. Sexual discipline is not just important for women. I do think it's important for women. I promote celibacy. I promote saving yourself until marriage and exploring that thing within the covenant of your husband, right? That is my belief. I've expressed this in detail, but also men also have to protect their own seed. Men are not the only ones who are hurt when they have casual sex, right? Now, the implications may not come out the same, but all it takes is for a man to sleep with the one wrong woman who can completely destroy her life, whether it be through a pregnancy, whether it be through false accusation, or whether it simply be just through her own evil demonic presence or her own evil spirit in some way, shape, or form, causing chaos in that man's life. Like, sleeping with the wrong woman can also be the undoing of a man. And so these kinds of situations to me always become case studies on, it don't matter if you are dating somebody who's Black and you're Black, if you're dating somebody who's white and you're white, if they're Asian or whatever, if you are having sex outside of God's intention, and if you are engaging with women who have really evil spirits, or who are toxic women, that can literally be the undoing of a man's career. And it is crazy to think that this career that has been built over decades can literally be undone just for a few moments of pleasure. Crazy. But this has happened before. So sexual discipline is not something that is just to be applied to women. It also should be applied to men. And I think ultimately, a white crazy woman ain't no better than a Black crazy woman, or vice versa. All women have the capacity to be crazy, and all men have the capacity to be crazy. It really just depends on that individual and their walk with God. But anyways, that's what I got, y'all. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know. Leave your questions, comments, concerns in the comment section below. Thank you so much for listening if you've gotten this far, and we'll talk later. Bye.